Hello, everyone. I'm Al Ruechel, as always, joined today by the Tampa Bay Times political editor, Adam Smith, who will introduce our guest. Good to see you, Adam.
You too, Al. We are lucky to have Republican Party of Florida Chairman Lenny Curry with us. Thanks for being here.
Pleasure being here. Thanks for having me.
So what happened? I thought Florida was going to decide this thing. Florida anointed Mitt Romney. He won big here, and now this presidential primary looks wide open.
It is wide open. It's still volatile. It was still good news for Florida. $25 million spent here on TV advertising in a short period of time, so it was good for our economy. Highlighted our state, gave us a lot of spotlight. Still good for Florida, but those of us that predicted what would come out of Florida, the momentum.
What's wrong?
Sometimes the pundits are wrong.
Is something wrong fundamentally with the Romney campaign or with the candidate that he just can't lock this up for all his advantages?
I don't think so. I think that looking back on 2008, the Republican electorate, they're taking this very seriously. They want to make sure that they've done their homework, and they're being very careful about this. They want to make sure that they nominate someone that can defeat Obama, and that is creating much volatility.
Do you have any doubt Florida is the ultimate swing state.
Yep.
It's microcosm of America. Rick Santorum did not do especially well in this state. Mm-hmm. Does that raise questions about his general election strength?
Whomever we get as our nominee, we're going to have the resources in Florida, the ground troops to help that individual message and turn our voters out and communicate with independents and Democrats that are frustrated and disaffected.
And you hear people in the media saying, oh, this is good that the Republicans slug it out. And if we remember back to 2008, it wasn't until June that Barack Obama had it locked up. Having said that, though, you're putting a big target on any Republican because the other candidates are just slugging away at each other with these negative ads.
It's important to remember, though, in 2008, Hillary Clinton and President Obama, Barack Obama, they duked it out till around June, and they said some pretty nasty things about each other.
Yeah.
And the money machine was with Hillary then. Obama didn't even have that. They rallied around him. She's now Secretary of State, so we're going to be okay. All this stuff about Fannie and Freddie, all of our baggage of our candidates, everybody's got a past. Nobody's perfect. It will be out there, and it will be old news. And we can make the compelling case for free enterprise, which I think will win the election, job creation.
Do you think it's no longer crazy that we may have a contested or at least an unresolved nomination by the time we get to Tampa in the convention?
I mean, I think anything is possible, but it's important to note that reading the newspapers, watching the news, I mean, I'm caught up into it. Oh, my gosh, we don't have a nominee. Only 4 states at this stage have awarded delegates, so it's like being the 3rd or 4th game into the NFL season and talking about who's on the road to the Super Bowl. We have a long, long way to go.
Now, obviously, the Florida is very important to the president. He's going to be in Miami, or was, and that was his 14th visit to the state of Florida. Can Obama win Florida, or to put it the other way, can the Republicans take Florida?
Obama's going to come here and spend a lot of money, but President Obama's going to have to run on his record. He's going to have to run on what he promised. He promised gasoline, I believe, at $2.50. When he took office, it was about $1.68. We know it's well above $2.50 now. He promised he would cut the deficit in half. We know what's happened there. And here in Florida, we're going to be able to communicate a model of job creation. I mean, you look at what our Governor Scott and the legislature have done, created 140,000 private sector jobs.
But, you know,
unemployment's dropped.
But a lot of people said the economy would naturally turn itself around, and lo and behold, it's starting to turn itself around.
But there's a very stark difference between what the Obama administration believes, how you turn an economy around, and what we as Republicans believe. They believe that government, at some level, controls goods and services, what we consume. We believe that free enterprise will affect lives, will lift more people out of poverty, do more than any welfare program. History tells us that. And we're going to have to make that case regardless of where the economy is.
The RNC is still a little myth that Florida went early with its primary. Like, it was a great news for TV stations and Republican activists getting all the attention. But they're talking about lousy hotels, limited VIP passes, floor passes. Are you talking to Reince Priebus, the RNC chairman? Are you getting any hope that you may not be stuck in Hernando County as the delegation?
I was with him this morning, and Chairman Priebus understands the importance of Florida and winning the presidency, and we are working behind the scenes. They're not happy with us, the RNC. but we're going to work together to make sure that Florida Republicans have a great convention experience.
It couldn't come back to Burners, could it? If we've only get half of our delegates, then people will think, hey, you could have had 100, but you only got, what, 49 or 50?
We're winner take all, so it's all of our 50 delegates go to. It's a big deal. So I think it worked out. The legislature appointed a committee that made that decision to move the primary up, and there's been much chatter about why did this happen. Whether you agree or disagree with it, they were elected to represent their constituents, and they believe they were acting in the best interest of the registered Republicans of the state of Florida.
Do you worry at all? You've got President Obama's campaign has now got 12 offices. They've got a big grassroots machine that's already underway. We're not really seeing that because the Republicans are tied up in their primary. Do you worry that this extended primary is going to be damaging for the general?
It's absolutely a concern to see that they have a large ground game now in Florida. What we're doing behind the scenes, so we're not having to knee-jerk when we have a nominee, is have a strategy and a plan in place. So when we have a nominee, we're not talking strategy. We can then translate those dollars into our ground game quickly.
U.S. Senate race, how's that going?
Ways to go.
Do you think, is Connie Mack, he's way ahead in the polls, is he a lock for the nomination?
I think the race is open. I mean, these guys are out campaigning hard. All of them are out campaigning. I've seen them on the campaign trail. They're visiting RECs, visiting activists, talking to business people, and that's another one. We'll have to wait and see what happens. All good, qualified people with good resumes that are smart enough to strategically win the nomination.
You know, here at Tampa Bay, it's the biggest media market, the biggest swing area of the country's biggest swing state. What people are buzzing about in this area right now is USF. And the legislature, largely J.D. Alexander, lopping funding out of USF, and people in this area are saying he's on a personal vendetta. How do you, I know you've got nothing to do with that, but does that worry you, that kind of backlash against the Republican-controlled legislature?
Yeah, man, I certainly don't like to see that in the media, but it's part of what I have to, as the Republican Party chairman, deal with. My focus is in Florida specifically. When you look at what our governor's agenda is, which is job creation and an educated workforce, he funded $1 billion in education, those are the issues that I'd like us to be talking about.
We've got to talk about the budget, because last year it was painful, and this year it was not supposed to be quite as painful, and yet it still is painful. The governor says he wants $1 billion put back in for education, but where that $1 billion is going to come from, where? Do we know?
The legislature, though, it's their job, they'll figure it out.
But the Republicans get slapped as being the ones that are roughhousing here and are cutting social services and Medicare and other things that many people on the Democratic side says you shouldn't be cutting that.
Well, look, we are in tough economic times still. We are turning it around in Florida. If we embrace the free enterprise system, truly embrace it, if we really reduce regulation, which is what our governor is doing, we'll create more jobs. And if we create more jobs, we'll grow our tax base, and we'll have money to fund the things, the safety net that the vulnerable in society need.
Quick prediction. Is Marco Rubio the next vice presidential nominee?
He's popular. He's qualified. He says that he doesn't want it, and I believe that he doesn't want it. But the Marco Rubio that I know, he's a family man, deep in his faith. He'll go home. He'll talk to his family about it. I'm sure he'll pray about it. And if asked, he will do what is right for the United States of America, I believe.
Oh, boy, we all have our fingers crossed one way or another. Lenny Curry with the Republican Party of Florida, thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it.
Always a pleasure.
Thanks a lot, Lenny.
Thank you.